a very good evening, everyone. So, coming to the last talk of the day, first of all, I would like to thank Dr. Parul, ma'am, for including me in this IC, very, very interesting IC. And I will be talking on tackling those bumps on the road. Okay, so the various advances in management of Calesia. So, yeah. So before I begin, I would like to give certain acknowledgements to Dr. Nandini Bothra, who's a consultant at LV Prasad Eye Institute, Hyderabad, the photography department of LV Prasad, and Dr. Arpita Nayak. These people have helped me put together this presentation and helped me with the clinical pictures. So, so Calazion is derived from the Greek word kaliza, which means a hailstone or a lump, and it was described as early as in 1700s. So, but before we really move on to further discussion on Calazion, why do we need to discuss Calazion in this IC? So, the topic of our IC is harmony of the lids and the disharmony of the lids and the ocular surface. So, Calazion is basically a disharmony. So, as you can see, it's sort of a vicious cycle. The pathophysiology is a vicious cycle. It can start with a meibomian gland block, because of which the normal medium is not secreted. There is abnormal medium, and it in turn leads to chronic inflammation and the lipogranulomatosis inflammation of the meibomian gland, and further the nodule, which presents as the Calazion. The other, this is one interesting article as I was going through the literature search. Already Dr. Parul has shown the meibographic characteristics of Calazion. When there's a Calazion, the meibomian glands cannot be made out. So they studied actually the meibographic characteristics pre and post Calazion treatment. So post treatment, they realized that in the place where the Calazion was there, after treatment, there was loss of meibomian gland. So there is something to probably look forward to. So this further accentuates the disharmony that occurs between the meibomian glands, and leads to the formation of the Calazion. So the clinical concerns, the clinical features, so it generally presents as a solitary nodule, which is non-tender since it's a chronic inflammation. And once you evert the lid, since the meibomian glands are tarsal, you will see a tarsal component. The clinical concerns, which are again a disharmony, is the cosmetic blemish, which is the main concern. And sometimes it is large enough to obscure vision, which rarely occurs. Which is a point of importance is it has the effect on refractive surgery. And what are the effects? That it can lead to lower order aberrations, higher order aberrations, and dry eyes, which leads to disturbance of the tear layer components. It can also have a bearing on the planning of the intraocular surgery, because you need to, if you have a patient with Calazion, you need to look out for associated conditions like blepharitis and meibomian gland disease, because this may predispose to an endophthalmitis due to staphylococcal infection. So the other thing which one needs to understand is that every bump on the lid is not a Calazion. So there are differential diagnoses to be considered in case of localized swelling. So besides Calazion, what you can consider is epidermoid cyst, epithelial inclusion cyst, and sebaceous gland carcinoma. So these are the various clinical pictures. And epidermoid cyst so the key to diagnosis for a Calazion would be everting the lid and checking. So as you can see, the presentation in an epidermoid cyst, in an inclusion cyst, it would be more of a translucent kind of a thing. The hordeolum on the other end would be a more acute presentation with pain and tenderness, which would be absent in a Calazion. So this is again a table of differentiation between hordeolum or a sty and the Calazion. So the treatment, it is important to know, because for a hordeolum, you would go in for an antibiotic treatment, and Calazion being a lipogranulomatous inflammation, there is limited role of an acute treatment. So now, how do you tackle the bump? So the various modalities that we are aware of and have been described is the most is the conservative management in form of warm compress, lid massage, and topical antibiotic. The other is we obviously go for an incision curettage. Also, the newer treatment, or what is recently coming up, is the injectable treatment in form of intralesional steroids, intralesional 5-FU, and intralesional Botox injections as well. So conservative treatment, so this is a clinical picture showing a patient who had a Calazion, and with conservative treatment of with warm compressive lid massage, she nicely resolved within a period of 2 to 3 months. So incision curettage, we all are aware of the instruments used. I will not, quickly just brush through this. So the Calazion clamp, so we know that there are two limbs to it. There's a flat limb and there is the ring limb. the chalazion scoop, which is used for scooping out the lipogranulomatous contents of the chalazion. It comes in various sizes. So this is a typical procedure of incision and curettage. You can see that first the chalazion is localized with the help of a clamp. A cruciate incision is taken and all the contents are scooped out. So this is again incision curettage. So injectable treatment mainly comes into play. The main indications are whenever there's a multiple chalazia, there is a peripunctal chalazion, there is any recurrent or residual chalazion, and the patient is not willing for INC. So to make it simple, this is very nice article by Dr. Nandini Bothra, where they have given, you can remember it as 3 M's: multiple chalazion, marginal chalazion, and medial chalazion or the peripunctal chalazion. So the technique of the intralesional steroid is basically the steroid use is the triamcinolone in the dosage of 40 milligram per ml. So after giving the local anesthesia, you evert the lid, inject it transconjunctivally in the chalazion, and a 1 ml syringe is used with a 26 gauge needle, and the dose is 0.2 to 2.3 ml of a 40 milligram concentration of triamcinolone. So post-injection protocol which is followed is antibiotic ointment for a week, and gentle massage over the chalazion 2 times a day for 5 to 10 minutes. So the effect of the intralesional steroid is apparent in about 2 to 5 weeks. Multiple injections up to 2 may be required for a complete resolution. Side effects are hypopigmentation of the skin. Hence, we prefer the transconjunctival injection because that avoids this side effect. Serious complications like retinal and choroidal vascular occlusion can occur, but with such a small dose, it is unlikely to occur in such cases. The advantage is obviously the simplicity of procedure, the ability to inject it near the lacrimal punctum, and it can be used as an alternative to surgery in case of multiple small and marginal chalazion where surgery is not a feasible option and it can lead to aesthetic defects. 5-FU injection for chalazion has been described, although I do not personally have any experience with this. If any of the audience or any of the co-instructors have it, I would be happy to know their experience. This is described. This is preferred in patients who are steroid responders and not responding to any other treatment. The resolution timeline, which has been described, is that conservative management. It is effective in 46% of the cases, and it takes approximately some few weeks to months for complete resolution. The intralesional steroid is effective in 84% of the time, and it takes approximately 2.5 weeks. And the incision curettage is effective in 87% of the time and takes about 1 week for complete resolution. So coming to special considerations, I would just, marginal chalazion. So it's a difficult to treat thing because, it's at the margin. You try and do an incision curettage, it will lead to a lid notching. So the preferred, you can consider an intralesional steroid as the first modality of treatment in such a case. So this is again a marginal chalazion. This also has the tarsal component to it. So as you can see, there are 2 components in this case. So the treatment that if you plan to do an incision and curettage is that you do a separate incision and curettage for both the lesions, the tarsal and the marginal lesion. So if you feel that the contents that have been scooped out are very, very granulomatous, intralesional steroid can also be given, but that would be for the tarsal thing. So the peripunctal chalazion, one thing you need to keep in mind is that you can confuse it with a canaliculitis. So what you need to note is the epicenter. This is within the ciliary portion of the eyelid. So that's the way you can differentiate it from a canaliculitis. It would be more, you will not, find the epicenter would not be in the ciliary portion. And so as you can see that this is patient 1, patient 2, both have a similar, they have a nodule. So when you actually evert, you can see that, there is, this is the peripunctal chalazion. And so that eversion and looking carefully at the canalicular opening and epicenter of the lesion is very important in a peripunctal pathology. So another thing to consider is a recurrent chalazion. So it is usually because of the failure to eliminate bacteria completely rather than from new infections. You must consider a few systemic associated conditions which can lead to recurrent chalazion, like blepharitis, MGD, acne rosacea, systemic illness. So treatment options remain the same. You can start off with a conservative treatment. Oral antibiotics can be given if there's associated blepharitis. And cyclosporin can be considered in case of severe ocular surface disease. And one thing important, if it is recurrent and the age of the patient, you evert the eyelid, you need to consider a biopsy to rule out a sebaceous gland carcinoma. So this thing needs to be kept in mind. So with this, I conclude, and just the take-home message is that every bump on the eyelid is not a calazion. Keep your differentials in mind. Evert the lid every time. That would give you the proper clue to your diagnosis. And injectable steroids should be considered as a treatment modality. Always remember the 3 M's. In this, this can be considered as a primary treatment modality: multiple chalazion, medial chalazion, and the marginal chalazion. Thank you so much for your patient listening. With this, I would end. Thank you so much.